بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم أما بعد. Inshallah, today we'll be beginning the 16th Juzz. Actually, we've already begun it and we are through most of Surah Kahf. In this portion that we are going to be reciting, Khidr alayhi salam gives the explanations for what he did. So out of them, I'll take one where he went to a town. And as per the custom, the people of the town should show hospitality to the travelers and should have hosted them and at least gave them some food. But this town, the people of this town refused. Musa alayhi salam found a wall which was inclining to fall, and he erected it, and he took no payment for it. So Musa alayhi salam questioned him and said, look, you could have actually taken a payment for what you just done instead of doing it for free. They refused us food and hospitality. At least we could have taken a payment and we could have had our necessities fulfilled. Anyway, Musa alayhi salam breached the conditions of questioning him before Khidr alayhi salam actually answers and gives him the explanation. So therefore that was going to be the separation point between the two. But before separating, Khidr alayhi salam gives the explanation. So as for the wall, he says, فَكَانَ لِغُلَامَيْنِ يَتِيمَيْنِ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ. That the wall, there belonged to two orphans in this town. وَكَانَ تَحْتَهُ كَنْزٌ لَهُمَا. Beneath this wall, there was some treasure which was belonging to the orphans. It was kept there for them. وَكَانَ أَبُوهُمَا صَالِحًا. And their parents were pious. فَأَرَادَ رَبُّكَ أَنْ يَبْلُغَا أَشُدَّهُمَا وَيَسْتَخْرِجَا كَنْزَهُمَا. So your Lord willed and wished that they grow up to their age of maturity and they extract and they take out their treasure. Now a point to consider here. Allah Ta'ala is preserving the wealth of these orphans from the people of the town who are clearly not generous because they refuse hospitality. Had this wall fallen and the treasure became uncovered, then the people, most likely the people of the town would have taken it and given none of it to the rightful owners, i.e. the orphans. Therefore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Khidr alayhi salam to erect the wall up straight so that it's covered until the time comes when they're mature and they're able to take it for themselves. But Allah Ta'ala makes a point here. فَكَانَ أَبُوهُمَا صَالِحًا فَأَرَادَ رَبُّكَ أَنْ يَبْلُغَا. Their parents were pious, hence Allah Ta'ala willed to reserve and to preserve their treasure for them. So ulama say that look, the well-being, the financial welfare of the children is looked after by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of the piety of the parents. It's not because you gave them the education so they're going to go and earn whatever they're going to earn. It's not because you left your inheritance for them that they're going to receive it. Many parents leave a lot of inheritance behind for their children, but their children don't receive it. The preservation of the financial welfare of your children, Allah has kept in your piety, in the mother's piety, in the father's piety. That will ensure, that's the insurance with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that your children will be looked after you in this world. Every parent has this worry that if I leave this world, what's going to happen to my children? Well, whatever is going to happen to you with Allah will dictate what happens to your children. If your affairs with Allah is correct and is one of a pious relationship, then be assured Allah will not let your children go to waste. That's the lesson we learn from there. Then in the next surah we begin Surah Maryam. In Surah Maryam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins with the story of Zakaria alayhi salam. And I just want to highlight the way he makes dua is one we can learn from. He says, Rabbi inni wahana al-'azmu minni washta'ala al-ra'su shayba. That, O Lord, my bones have become weak and my hair has become white. It's as though my head has caught on fire, it's like it's gone white. He's expressing his weakness. And he's not just saying, oh Allah, I am weak, but he's describing what kind of weakness he has. And he implores Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give him a child. And Allah ta'ala blesses him. Anyone who wants to reach out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what makes their dua mustajab, one which is readily accepted, is the way you conduct your dua. Many people raise their hands, they move their lips, and their mind is absent. Allah Ta'ala doesn't accept a dua from a qalbin ghafilin lahin, from a heart which is neglectful and from a heart which is oblivious. You have to put your heart where your lips is, and you have to connect your dua. And only then that dua coming out from the depth of the heart, matching what you say, will reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many people raise their hands, they utter things, and they're looking here and there. That's not the way you ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah ta'ala makes mention of the story of Maryam alayhi salam, when she gave birth. Very detailed. And since it's the period of Easter, and many school holidays now, but towards the end of the term, usually they have these assemblies where they are taught about Isa alayhi salam being resurrected and so forth. This is an ideal opportunity. Take out the Quran. It's a very nice self-explanatory story of Maryam alayhi salam, how she gives birth to Isa alayhi salam, and how he speaks when he's a child, Inni Abdullah, and he says, I am the servant of Allah. So that's one we should all try and read through with our families and our children. Moving forward, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes mention of quite a few Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam, beginning with Ibrahim alayhi salam. Allah ta'ala recounts the incident where he is addressing his father. Knowing Ibrahim alayhi salam, he grew up in a household in which the idols were being manufactured. His own father was making the idols. But he felt very uneasy. He saw that there was no logic in what was happening. And he addressed his father, Ya abati, lima ta'budu ma la yasma' wa la yubsir wa la yughni anka shay'a. That, oh my beloved father, why do you worship something that does not hear, does not listen, does not see? Ya abati inni qad ja'ani min al-ilmi ma lam ya'tik. Oh my beloved father, there has come to me a knowledge which hasn't reached you. Ya abati la ta'budu shaytan. Oh my beloved father, don't worship shaitan. Shaitan was disobedient to the most merciful. Ya abati inni akhafu an yamassaka adhabum. That, oh beloved father, I fear that a punishment is going to afflict you from the most merciful. He's pleading with his father. In his address, he is respectful. In his address, he's showing his love by repeating, Ya abati, Ya abati. And that goes, two things to learn from here. One is, sometimes in your own family, there may be elders who may not be doing things which are right. Address them in the most politeful manner. Address them with respect. Address them with love. Just because they're doing something wrong, it doesn't mean you have an opportunity to disrespect them and to belittle them. No. In your address, just as Ibrahim alayhi salam was doing, show love and compassion. As a father, as an elder who's being corrected by a younger, we shouldn't do as Ibrahim alayhi salam's father did. We shouldn't shun them away and say, be quiet, if you carry on, I'll punish you, or get out the house, go away. If you do so, whose path are you on? The path of Ibrahim or the path of his father Azar, who was an idol worshipper? Many a times children learning something in the madrasa comes home and says, Dad, we heard you shouldn't be listening to music. Mom, you shouldn't be listening to music. Mom, we heard you're supposed to be wearing the hijab. Say, be quiet, go home, go into your room. And they're shunned away. Think, whose path are you following? Are you going to be Ibrahim, or are you going to be his father Azar? May Allah Ta'ala give us understanding. After mentioning many of the prophets, Allah Ta'ala says, أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ أَنْعَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ مِنَ النَّبِيِّينَ. Then goes on to say, إِذَا تُتْلَى عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُ الرَّحْمَنِ. These are the people whom Allah has favored from amongst the prophets. And Allah Ta'ala gives a description when the verses of Ar-Rahman is recited to them. is recited upon them, خَرُّوا, they fall down, سُجَّدًا, in prostration, وَبُكِيًّا, and they are in tears. This was the description of the prophets. But then Allah Ta'ala says something after that. فَخَلَفَ مِن بَعْدِهِمْ خَلْفٌ. Then there came after them successors, those people who came after these noble prophets. أَضَاعُوا الصَّلَاةَ, they ruined the salah. وَاتَّبَعُوا الشَّهَوَاتِ, and they followed the desires. فَسَوْفَ يَلْقَوْنَ غَيًّا, they will soon receive, or they will soon meet their perversion. And according to Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu an, Ghayya is a cave in hell. The worst part of it, the most torturous of punishments will be in this cave, which is called Ghay. And this is where those people will end up. Who? أَضَاعُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَاتَّبَعُوا الشَّهَوَاتِ, those who ruin the salah and those who follow their desires. Who falls under the category of ruining their salah? Those who don't perform their salah at its prescribed time. Those who at the end of the day combine all of their salahs and perform them all together. They are in ada'u salah. Those who don't perform their salah properly, don't do the arkan properly, they go down in ruku' and in a flash they're up into sajda, they touch the ground and they're back up as though they are pecking the ground. Ada'u salah, they're ruining their salah. Those who also don't perform their salah in the masjid, they are also included. Hasan Basri rahimahullah makes mention, those who leave the masjid unattended. Throughout the year, most of the spaces are vacant. And they perform the salah elsewhere. According to the Mufassirin, they are also included in ada'u salah. May Allah Ta'ala protect us. Last thing, Musa alayhi salam makes a dua. Rabbi shrah li sadri. And one when he was commissioned to go to Fir'aun. So whenever a difficult task faces us, we should make this dua. Oh Allah, open up our hearts. Rabbi shrah li sadri. Wa yassir li amri. Make our task easy for us. Wahlul uqdatan min lisani. And loosen the knot on our tongue. Musa alayhi salam had a stuttering problem. For that, he made that dua. Further on, he made a dua which I want to highlight. He says, وَجَعَلْ لِي وَزِيرًا مِّنْ أَهْلِي. Oh Allah, give me an assistant from my family. Waziran, someone who will carry my burden, who will shoulder my responsibility too. And let that be my brother Harun. Mufassirin, right? This shows the importance of having good companionship. A good brother to stand by you. If you're giving da'wah, have someone by you who's going to assist you in that. If you want to do something good, you want to learn, you want to go on a learning journey, get someone to accompany you. And that's why Musa alayhi salam says, Kay nusabbihaka kathira. Why do I want someone with me from my family, and that be Harun, so that we can glorify you together. That shows we should have a good companion in our life who will accompany us in all of these journeys. May Allah Ta'ala give us tawfiq.